I be the a-hole if I take over planning my own funeral from my very religious parents?
What did he say?
All right, that and a lot of other drama on today's Am I the Asshole Reddit video. This one's gonna be a doozy. Before we jump into this video, I just want to put this little phone number right here in case you're in crisis and if you need help. Feels like my responsibility, and hey, take charge of your life. Ooh, okay. Will I be the a-hole if I take over planning my funeral from my very religious parents? Ooh. Hello all. Well, if it isn't already obvious from the title, I am dying. How long ago? This was 6 years ago. RIP, I'm guessing. I don't feel the details are super relevant to the issue at hand, but for those who are curious about my ultimate demise, I have cystic fibrosis, and after 2 rejected lung transplants, I've been told there isn't anything else they can do but keep me comfortable in my last few weeks. I've begun my preparations for my funeral, and such as well, thinking about it would be a breath of fresh air from this whirlwind of death. I could not have been more wrong. Now, on to the title. My parents are both strict Southern Baptists and want a very traditional funeral. This includes hymns to be sung during the memorial, casket and graveside service, a viewing, countless prayers during the memorial, scripture to be read. My issue with this as well, everything, is that I'm the complete opposite of my parents. Not religious, I curse like a sailor, I drink like the Irish, you name it. You have lived your life, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm so sorry that you're probably dead now. Everything they are wanting and attempting to plan is not me as a person. I've somehow made it to 25 and managed to meet the man of my dreams and marry him last year, and he is torn. He wants me to have exactly what I want. He doesn't just want me to have to deal with my parents after the fact that when he's actively grieving. I want my service to be one full of laughter, funny stories and pictures, upbeat music, cats. My husband and I are avid cat lovers. I want confetti and shit. But more importantly, I want to be cremated and put in a cat-shaped urn. I told my husband I wanted my ashes to be handed out like party favors so my family and friends can take me with them because I love to travel, and he looked horrified. I love this. I collect ashes, right? I know that's really weird, but like if ashes don't have a place to go, they end up here sometimes, so I love that. My parents are absolutely not on board and are essentially planning everything how they want, attempting to take me shopping for a casket, flowers, picking out hymns and verses, the whole deal. I am obviously not very pleased. So I guess my question would be, will I be the asshole if I take control of my own funeral and wrote a will to be followed exactly how I want it? I understand my parents are grieving, and I've tried to compromise with a mixture of both my views and theirs, but they aren't having it. I never thought dying would be so stressful, and I want to enjoy what time I have left. Please help. Okay, so the comments on this first before we go to the update. Not the a-hole, it's literally your funeral and you sound like an awesome person worth celebrating. I love that. Definitely double check that a will is actually binding in this regard. I specialize in estate management in New Zealand, and funeral instructions are not legally binding. Also, you're married, so I feel like your husband now has more of a choice. Her husband next of kin though, he should have legal planning authority. I agree, but there is an update. Okay, I'm excited. I'm like really invested. I want to go to this person after and see if, oh, they're dead now. Updates. Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for the kind words, support, and love that everyone has offered to give in. These weeks have been the most difficult I have ever experienced, and it is with great sadness. Oh damn! It's not her writing. Damn! And it's with great sadness that I tell you that my beautiful and cat crazy wife has passed. I've had to cut this short due to character limits. Sorry all, but I did leave you all a note. Reddit, I have copied everything verbatim below. She truly loved everyone and was smiling so much after her first post that I will take my leave here. Much love. I'm gonna cry. Oh, it starts funny. Hold on. I'm gonna do that thing that girls do to their makeup. Just got this here for the tears, you know, at least it's not toilet paper. Reddit, if you're reading this, I am dead. Pretty crazy to be talking to a dead person, eh? But it feels strange to be writing this. My husband has offered to write these words, such as sweet ham, I know. Be nice to him, okay? Fuck, I'm so fucked up right now. But I wanted my last words to be written by me. Long story short, we talked to my parents. A lot of people asked why my husband isn't planning the funeral, and my parents were taking control. Honestly, my parents didn't take the news of my passing to come well, and I suppose it's their closure. And to put it plain and simple, it was hand that they were dealt. So we talked to them. I laid it all out for them, and somehow we reached a compromise. Lots of tears, lots of hugs, and surprisingly lots of laughs. They admitted that they had been losing their faith with everything that had been happening, and it was their attempt to find it again, was to take control and guide me into the afterlife. Not my thing though, and I explained to them I am not them, but their daughter who wanted to live the last weeks of her life in peace, not the turmoil that they were putting me through. Well, a lot of people stated that funerals are for the living. True. I firmly believe that the funeral is for for the living to remember the person as who they were, not what everyone else wanted it to be. My parents seemed to understand when I told them that. They were not on board with the party favor aspect though, kind of a bummer. Pretty lucky to plan my own funeral, honestly. But now that all is said and done, thank you guys. I was blown away by the response and I was moved to tears. I wish I had a chance to meet every single one of you. You'll all be good now, right? Take it one day at a time and enjoy yourself. You only get one life. Unless you're someone who has survived death, then you're just a fucking hero and probably a cat with a few lives to spare. I love you all. I'm resting now. This disease sucks and I'm happy to be rid of it and laugh and love and cry and be sad. Shit happens. I've got to go now. I've got to go snuggle my husband and my cats. Keep it real, Reddit. Love you all. What a person. What a wonderful person. I get so mad. Like, I have such a weird relationship with death. I'm so scared of leaving what I have because I love what I have. But I'm excited for what's next, but I don't want to do it alone. I don't want to go alone. And I freak out about death because I have a lot of health things that are always going on. Sorry, just bawling now, thinking about this person, making it about myself. My God. I just like the person this person writes, and she just doesn't seem scared. I just wish I could be that way. I want to make a YouTube video with a letter to Remy in case something happens to me because I have problems with my heart and my diabetes, and I'm just so scared. People in my family have a tendency to just drop dead young, and I don't want to leave. I'm having a good time, and that's why I'm on my health journey. If you guys haven't heard, I'm on a health journey. I made an Instagram page called Selena's Cub. I'm gonna do a little bit of an update over there. It's been a really, really rough start to making healthier choices. Food addiction is absolutely insane, but I really loved this one. So thank you so much. Dying is stressful. Am I the a-hole for wanting to go to the funeral of a girl that I helped get addicted to substances? I am 26 and clean from H for 3 years. Clap for being off. I used to be a piece of shiza and I used to deal it for a while. I managed to get with a beautiful girl named Marcy when I first started getting into the thick of things. She knew who I was, but she loved me. I will regret this for the rest of my life, but I was the first person who gave that to Marcy for the first time. After that, there was no stopping her. She stuck around with me, probably because I was her dealer more than anything, but then I got clean and I never saw her again for a long time. A year ago, she reached out to me on Facebook and told me that she had been clean for a few months, and she said that she didn't hate me for what happened and hoped that I was still clean. Last week, I got a call from my sister who told me she saw on Facebook that Marcy had passed away and there was a funeral service this upcoming Thursday. Immediately, I burst into tears because I hoped that this would never happen, and I feel so much guilt over it. I want to go to the funeral service for her, but I'm afraid that my presence would be unwanted. At the most, I could just slip in the back, pay my respects, and leave. I need to do this for myself. Am I the a-hole for wanting to go? I'm just gonna go with first initial response right here. Yeah, this funeral's not about you. You played a unfortunate small role of the beginning of the downfall of this person's life, and this is gonna be the people who are with her for her whole life. You guys were only together for a part-time, and they don't want you there. They don't want you there. I'm curious what people have said. You're not an asshole for wanting to go, but you will be one if you did go. Your presence would not be welcomed. Go mourn privately somewhere else. Also, edited to add, it's a move to use this opportunity to do it for yourself, as you put it. Her family is not putting on a funeral to lessen the guilt for the person who got their child addicted to H. Visit her grave after she's been interred. Go visit and have a conversation with her there. I agree. OP did enough. I would be irate if my brother's dealer had the audacity to show up at my brother's funeral. Mourn elsewhere. My daughter OD'd 3 months ago, and if anyone who sold her the stuff she was doing, especially the one who got her into it, it would not have been a good situation. Yeah, no, don't. I scrolled up to the top and I realized that this actually was rated the a-hole, but there is also an update. We love updates in this house. Update. I want to sincerely thank everyone who commented. Everyone's comments were appreciated, including those that were less than pleasant. Since I received such great advice in my original post, I feel an obligation to update, and I am trying to follow through on all aspects of my life, even internet ones. The funeral service was held this past Thursday. I'm so scared to see if they went or not. Before then, I brought all the advice that I received online and brought it to the real world and talked to both my therapist and my sponsor about how I was feeling and what I should do. My sponsor was straight and told me that I would be putting myself in danger by going and that I should do something else that day to grieve. That's kind of a weird way to put it. Then Thursday rolled around. I was a mess. I seriously considered both just going to the funeral or using again, but instead I grabbed my dog and I went on a road trip. We went to the beach and we just hung out, the two of us. I'm doing okay this week, but obviously I'm still not doing great. That's it. Take care, everyone. I'm glad on the decision that you made, but I do want to say a couple things. Yes, you got her addicted to this stuff, but at the same time, she is an adult, probably, I'm guessing. So at the end of the day, it is her choice. You shouldn't have been there, but like, you're not fully responsible for what happened. Did you play a role? Yes, but you are not fully responsible. Again, if you are dealing with a crisis, I want to throw a number up right here, crisis hotline, call it, drop some messages down below, talk with some people in the comments. You would be amazed how many people have had the same struggle as you. Let's drive on to some more juicy, less sad, okay? Am I the a-hole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? Oh my God, I'm gonna like this. I already know I'm gonna like this. I am a high schooler with a job at a coffee shop. My co-workers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager. He's a friendly guy. And then we have Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff. Literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it is a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown man taking your anger out on some high school and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun and then hopefully getting them off our backs. Oh, I love this. Oh, you know, I love this. Improv class. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came from the back and said, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And when the guy started ranting at him too, he was just like, "This is unacceptable. You're fired." I started acting really sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs money. I need this job, please." And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take my apron off and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, "It isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it." And James was like, "No, we pride ourselves on the best customer service." And of course, after all that drama, I still have my job. We were just acting, and we would have done it a couple times whenever a customer would lose their temper at Danielle or I. It's kind of satisfying making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friend from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they got someone who desperately needed money fired. Am I for this joke? No! I think it's hilarious. I think it shows people how their actions affect others. I think that it puts people in their fucking lane because everybody takes life too seriously. Literally just be kind. Like, literally just be kind. Like, the power that you hold when you just decide to be happy and you let someone react in whatever crazy they want to react and you just go on with your life, living your life. The power you have in that, the power to not react, is the dirtiest, juiciest, sexiest power you will ever have. Comments. Not the a-hole. That's a perfect way of dealing with hostile customers. I literally love that. When the hostile customers try to backtrack, they say that it makes it worth it. OP's tactic hopefully teaches them to stop complaining to service workers about things out of their control. Figure something else out, Dave. My God. Next one. My eyes are so blurry. Am I the a-hole for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has slept with after she outed my youngest brother as a virgin? Oh, family tea. Family tea. We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister, 29, my younger sister, 24, female, and our youngest brother, 22, male. Extended family attended our family dinner, so all of our significant others, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, etc. During the dinner, my eldest sister and youngest brother got into a mid-disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration and said losing the argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting a bit fed up. Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up. I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." Nothing's wrong. You can be a virgin your whole life. That's fine. My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up to that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me as my bro definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of like this. So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college. No shaming here. If I could go back before I was married, like not married, oh my gosh, before I was in a relationship, like if I could look back at my teenage self, I would have been crazier. I would have been crazy, and I was already crazy, okay? And since everyone in the family knows that it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this amazingly. I genuinely assumed that he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying that my sister misled him about her past. Family is blaming me for their marital problems now, and I refuse to accept that I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone, and all I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. This is just sibling drama, and I love it. Are you the... Oh, no. Okay, I'm bad, though. I would fight. You come for my brother? I'm coming after you. Okay, everyone said one person making personal attacks doesn't mean someone else should, especially since you weren't in the argument to begin with. But she loves the drama! Yes, seems right. Not cool of her for going after her brother like that, but there were much better ways for diffusing the argument than stooping to her level of a personal attack, regardless of the aftermath. Oh my gosh. 100% it's the thought. Me mentioning my virginity is as low as possible. Mentioning sex with 100 guys, though, is way past the line. Nobody would def want to bring something that personal up. At the top it says it's rated that everyone sucks, which I kind of agree with, but like, I wish I was that fly on the wall. Next up, am I the a-hole for punishing my son after he said something racist? Oh shit. TB hot. About a week ago, my 39 female family ordered Chinese food for delivery. When the delivery driver came to the door, my daughter, 16 female, was taking the cat upstairs to put in her room because he always tries to eat the food. My son, 13 male, what a terrible age for boys, loudly says, "Make sure to hide the cat from the Chinese guy." As I'm at the door getting the food from the Chinese delivery driver, he obviously heard what my son said and was upset by it and quickly apologized. Wait, what's wrong? Make sure to hide the cat. See how simple I am and kind? It took me a minute to even understand what the comment was there. I told my son that racist jokes were completely unacceptable and very wrong, and he refused to admit that he was in the wrong. So later that night, I forced my son to write a sincere apology to the delivery driver. His name was on the receipt, as well as a one-page paper on Chinese culture, a one-page paper on racism perpetuated by racist jokes and stereotypes. And then the next day, I took him to the restaurant and had him read his apology to the delivery driver, as well as give him the papers he wrote. The driver was very appreciative of the apology and thanked me for making my son do it. He then told my son about multiple instances where he had faced racist comments and attacks from people while he was a delivery driver. That's horrible. And I'm not done yet, but I'm really glad you held your kid accountable. That night, my husband, 43 male, and I got into an argument about me making my son do this. He told me that it was embarrassing for our son to have to do the apology and that the punishment didn't fit the crime. Cough. Yes, it did. I told him that it was so much more embarrassing for the driver to have to face that kind of racism and racist stereotypes, and that our son will get over the embarrassment. I do not condone any kind of hateful thinking in my house, and the fact that my son said it embarrassed me as well. My husband told me that it was just a joke and that it wasn't that big of a deal. I feel like I might have overreacted some, but I think it's important to help my son understand what he did and how it was wrong and hurtful. I like mama moment. Mommy moment, mommy moment. I would do that. Like, there's such a fine line because there's comedians and clubs. Like, there's a place, not even for racism. Like, it's hard. But I'll tell you, I hear a lot of that in jokes, but you're going there expecting that. You don't want to hear that when you're at work. You don't want to deal with anything like that. I commend them up. This is not the asshole. Sounds like your husband could learn the lesson too. Honestly, maybe. Maybe you get him to write a paper. No more coochie till you write me a 5-page paper, hoochie. I hate that. I'm sorry. My first thought after hearing the dog's reaction was, guess why the son thinks it's okay. I think that's a good mummy moment. Oh, I want to do a mummy moment Reddit ask thing. Do you want a mummy moment from me? I think we should do a mummy moment. Am I the a-hole from getting up from my chair in the middle of Christmas dinner and shouting, "Shut the F up about my body!" in response to my husband's observation? Let's get into it. So ever since I had my son months ago, oh God, just months. God damn, here we go. I'm still trying to get rid of the baby weight and I didn't even have a baby. I just don't want to die. Emotional damage. My husband has started making indirect comments about my body. Go. He never says any hurtful words, but I find his observations, as he calls it, hurtful. For example, he'd see me wearing an old top and say, "Oh, that top used to look Good on you, but not anymore. Oh, so you hear me gag while I was reading that? Or when he looks at my waist and he says, wow, I didn't know your waist could get this wide. Basically passive stuff that I tried to ignore until it extended to his friends and family. FYI, this went on for months and months and months. You know what? I think about this sometimes because like my body was commented on so absolutely violently growing up by family members. It never really was in school. It never was really by bullies. Like it never really was, but it was really talked about in my family. And it's never talked about by Adam. And like, I'll literally say something and I'll be like, it's all right. He's like, I don't care if you're the size of a football field. I love you. But it's just like, it's crazy when you live in a place where you think that that's okay. And then you go into the world where you have someone who loves you, who doesn't say shit about your body. And then you go on the internet and people say a lot of things about your, moving on. Not my problem. We're reading about her problem. We went to a Christmas celebration at his family's home. My sister-in-law complimented my floral maxi dress, and my husband said, I agree. It looks nice on you. Though I have to admit, your waist could get smaller than this. Awkward silence took over. I was absolutely fuming. This was my last straw. I got up from my chair in the middle of dinner, and I shouted at the top of my lungs, shut the F up about my body! He was absolutely speechless as his family stared while some others tried to get me to calm down. But this situation got more tense and dinner ended up being cut short, with my husband storming off to his friend's place to spend the night upon leaving a very nasty text saying that I embarrassed him and made a scene over an observation he made. He called me childish and told me to go to therapy for my insecurities instead of verbally abusing him and scarring his family. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot. Like I ruined Christmas for him and everybody over my sensitivity. Am I the a-hole? Babe, you took it all. You took it as long as you could, and the pressure of Christmas, it broke the camel's back. Camel? Broken. Dead. That's what happened. That's what happened. I'm so sorry he did this to you. I think you should be spanked. I think you should start making observations about his hairline. Maybe his like mountain boobs. Maybe his tiny little wiener boy. I got really into that. Anyways. Oh, this thread got locked due to violations. So let's read the juicy comments. I think the last thing your husband really wants for you to do is get therapy. If you do, you'll discover that he is emotionally abusive bully and stop feeling guilty for refusing to put up with his BS. Not the a-hole, but your husband is. Do as he recommended. Go to therapy so you can regain self-confidence that he is eroded with his cruel observations. OP should, in fact, text this back to him. Stop gaslighting me. You've been abusive and a bully. You need to go to therapy and figure this out, because if not, our marriage might be over. Man, don't stay with someone who makes you feel small. Do you know how many guys out there would love to just sweet little ass? You're gonna need to bleep ass. You might need to bleep that whole sentence. Oh, danger! Am I the a-hole for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? This sounds diabolical. This sounds perfect magic. Grace, it's beautiful. I love it. Me and two other guys share an apartment together and we split the bills. The only thing we don't split costs on is groceries. Everyone is in charge of buying their own food and we don't touch whatever doesn't belong to us in the fridge. We put our names on everything so nobody gets mixed up. This issue has been going on for about a year and I am sick of it. One of my roommates, R, keeps stealing my food. I get home from work and my containers or my leftovers are sometimes missing and they have my name written on them, or my stuff finishes too quickly. My gallon of milk, for example. I buy almond milk because I like the taste, but it seems to finish after a week even though I've only drank it once or twice. I confronted R about this lots of times and it has caused a lot of arguments. He outright denies it and tells me I'm crazy even though it's so obvious. My other roommate and I carpool together because we both work at the same early morning shift around the same area, so I know it's not him. Anyways, after we get back home and R's already left for work, I notice my food is gone. My roommate also had a similar problem, but not as often as I do, so I'm guessing R does it because he doesn't like what he buys. The funny thing is, R buys lots of food for himself, and he's even more stingy about his food. He will literally point out what is his when he comes back from the grocery store and tell us not to touch it. Last week, my milk was nearly empty again, and I got so fed up. I went to the liquor store and I bought regular dairy milk. Why are you buying regular dairy milk at the liquor store? That sounds gross. I drank what was left of my almond milk and refilled the gallon with the one I bought. This was to catch and prove R that he was the one stealing since he's lactose intolerant. The next Saturday I get back from work and R is pissed. He yelled at me that he was stuck in the bathroom for 40 minutes with diarrhea because of my milk he was using to make a shake. I only responded with, so then you are the one that has been stealing. He freaking exploded. Yeah, he admitted that he was sometimes drinking drinking my milk and eating my food, but he was more mad that I switched milks than the fact that he was caught. I told him I wouldn't have done that if he just would have stopped taking my stuff from the fridge, or at least told the truth instead of trying to make it seem like I was making it up. My roommate backed me up and thought that it was kind of funny he got payback from stealing from us. It's a little tense right now, and my roommate told me that R is trying to convince him to agree to kick me out. Little does he know that we are both looking to move somewhere else together as we're sick of his shit. I told my buddies what happened, and a few think I'm an asshole for that, but I feel like I'm not in the wrong here. Not the asshole. I think you're funny. I think you're diabolical. I think it's juicy. I think I love it. I think you're not the dick. You got payback. It's the best way. You told him 10 times and he said it wasn't him, but it was him. Not the a-hole. R wasn't stealing your food. He wouldn't have had a problem. How dare you make the face of consequence in my own actions? You can do whatever you want with your milk. Like put it in another container. Massive not the asshole. I wish I was as creative as you, as I had a roommate taking my food. You made my day. Juicy. I love it. I think that's magic. I'm so proud of you. Am I a bad person? Can you guys be honest with me? Am I the a-hole for giving away my gifts because they had the wrong name? What? My husband 30 and I 30 have a 3-year-old son together. My in-laws have a tradition where they take their dad's middle name as their first name and then they go by their middle name. For example, my husband's name is West Allen, but he goes by Allen, and our son is Alan Dean, and he would go by Dean. I was happy to be a part of the tradition as I knew it meant a lot to my husband and the in-laws. His middle name came from my grandpa and I was happy, but also felt like his name wasn't his own. We didn't tell anyone until my son was born though that his legal name was still Alan Dean. He would go by AD. I can't express how happy I am to call him AD, and luckily most people were happy too, except one. Before he was born, my mom was so excited she got a custom-made everything with the name Dean on it. I accepted them, not knowing until later that we would be calling him AD. My mom was clearly upset when we told her, but I assured her that I would still use the items since it was so last minute. I did not realize at the time that this would be a continued issue with my mom. She called him Dean whenever he was near her, and in turn had our family who communicated through her call him Dean as well. After a few months of this, I finally asked why she won't call him AD, and she said it was because she had a resident where she worked at a nursing home named AD, and he was so mean and ugly, and she can only think of that old man when she hears the name. She hadn't worked in that nursing home in years and only worked for 3 years there. I told her that it was crazy that she refused to budge. Years later, and not only does she still call him Dean, but she still gets custom things with his name, and even though I made it clear that it's AD, she still gets some shirts with Dean on them. I told her to her face that he won't wear them at my house, and she just gets upset and says that he can use them as play clothes, and if I hate them so much, I can end up throwing them all in a pile in the closet. Last week, I was cleaning out the closet and finally decided to toss out all the items. I put them all together and posted them on a mom Facebook group if anybody had a little Dean and wanted the items. Someone in the group was friends with my mom and apparently asked her about the items. My mom was furious and messaged me about why I was getting rid of all her stuff. I told her that I had explained plenty of times that I wasn't going to use this stuff, and she refused to keep it, so I'm giving it to someone who would. She argued with me for a long time, and then I eventually gave up replying. Later, I got a call from my grandpa saying that I upset her and that I should be grateful for the custom items. I told him that my mother-in-law got him custom items too, and they have AD on them without an issue. I said it's not grateful, it is selfish. He tried to convince me to apologize to her, and I refused. My sister and one of my brothers also agreed with my mom, but I tell them all the same thing. I don't think you're an asshole. I think this is one of those things where it's like we grew up in different generations, but you need to set your boundaries, and you did that. And if she really cared, she could just buy you frickin' AD things. So the tradition is in your husband's family to call him Dean. You're thrilled about this tradition. The tradition is very important to your husband and in-laws. The name is your grandparents, but you still choose to call your son by a nickname and are acting weird with your mother because he calls your son the name you actually gave him. What was this rated? This was rated asshole. I don't agree. I don't. You know what? I feel neutral because yes, your kid has a name, but people give people nicknames. People have different nicknames for different people. Like there are these people I hated it, and all growing up they called me Selene. Like what do you nickname Selena though? Lena? They call me Selene or Selena. I hated it. Selena. Keep an eye out for Selena. Sorry. Pop culture reference. I can't believe they're rating us, although I feel like that was a little deep. Am I the a-hole for buying my daughter an Apple Watch and AirPods? How can that be an a-hole? That sounds great. Mommy buying a present. My daughter, 16 female, had her birthday a few days ago. She does really well at school and deserves a gift, so I wanted to buy her a gift to celebrate the occasion. Around a month ago, I asked her what she wanted, and she said she didn't want anything. What an angel. Do you want my list? My daughter has very old technology. Her computer is missing several keys, and she still uses earbuds with wires. So for her birthday, I figured I should get her something related to technology that she will use. I bought her an Apple Watch and AirPods so she can be more up to date. I love that. I want to clarify that before buying anything, I asked her to try on my AirPods. She did and said they were okay, but that she preferred her earpods. However, she has issues with change, so I thought that she would settle in and prefer AirPods eventually. Me and my wife gave her our gifts. My wife got her a cat-themed blanket and some cans of soup she likes. It's so random, I love it. In my opinion, this is a ridiculous gift to get a teenager who's almost an adult, but my daughter liked it. If she liked it, it's all better. She knows her vibe. However, when I gave my gift to her, my daughter started crying and told me that she hated my gift and that I should return it to the store. She was mad at me because she thinks an Apple Watch is too expensive and that she doesn't like spending money. She also says she doesn't like jewelry, and although an Apple Watch isn't even jewelry, and that she doesn't want AirPods because she'll probably lose them. I told them she was being ridiculous and that she needed to be grateful. She told me I obviously didn't know anything about her, and if I thought she wanted AirPods, then she left me on silent treatment and is not talking to me. My wife agrees that she is being ungrateful, but also said that I should not have gotten her Apple Watch because she has texture issues. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? This is another one where I think we're talking about a specific kind of person, obviously, who has sensory issues, who has a really hard time with change. So help me in the comments. Does this sound like autism? Does this sound like Asperger's, something like that? I don't feel like he did wrong at all. I think his intentions were good, but maybe he just doesn't understand her the same way that her mom does. That's like clearly what's going on. Also, this was rated asshole, but I don't think it is. I think he did the best. I think they could return it and choose something together, maybe an iPad, maybe something like that. I don't think he's an asshole though. Let's see what people said. This reminds me of when I was 10 or so years old and I loved Nintendo 64. I mentioned to my dad that I would like a GameCube so I could play the upcoming Mario and Sonic games. My dad insisted that the Xbox had better games and better specs. Argued with me at length. A year later, my dad got me an Xbox with several games. I rarely played it. He got pissed and told me that he wouldn't buy me a GameCube because I had a perfectly good Xbox. I'm seeing the light. She tried on your AirPods and said she didn't like them, but you still got them even though she said she didn't want them. The watch I don't understand because I feel like that was cool, but you also thought that maybe she would get you. I feel like you can't even comment on it without knowing the family. But I do understand this, and my parents and people have done that to me before where you want something, but they're like, well, this is what I think you should have. So they get you what they think you should have instead. Okay, I'm getting it. You're the asshole. I suppose you might get a few random internet strangers call your child an asshole for you, but it's not going to be me. Yes, her negative reaction was unusually strong. I think that's where I'm getting held up to. But she's 16 and maybe neurodivergent. And after all, she did specifically tell you in advance she didn't want AirPods. What's also a-hole-ish is the irrelevant and gratuitous shot at the gift your wife gave her. Yeah, that was dicky. She liked it. She knew her. Damn, I'm seeing some lights in my own self today. Oh my god, this one's gonna upset people. Am I the a-hole for selling my son's Pokemon binder? I have a 19-year-old son, and when he was little, he was obsessed with Pokemon. I bought him the stuffed animals, the games on Nintendo, the cards. Him and his father would put every card they pulled into a binder. And when he got into late middle school or like high school, his interest in things completely disappeared. I was deep cleaning the house, and I found the binder in the back of our storage closet. I remember asking him if he was still into Pokemon, and he said no. So I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't think he'd mind since he hadn't even mentioned Pokemon for a long time. They're from when he was a kid too. Recently, he has decided to start collecting Pokemon again. Today, I watched him tear up the house trying to look for his binder, so I told him I sold it. He lost his mind, completely flipping out on me. He said that I'm a horrible mother for going behind his back and selling his cards. He started asking me who bought them and that he wanted to ask them for the cards back. I explained to him it happened nearly 6 years ago and they were probably gone. My husband came home from work about an hour ago and he told me that what I did to our son was horrible. Just put it in a box. Put it in a box. You didn't ask him if he wanted it still. That's like an Hermes bag, okay? That was an investment. There is a decent chance that collection was worth thousands, if not more. Some of those cards are rare and worth a lot. Someone said, I was looking for this one. You're the on the principle of this, but holy heck, OP might have sold a $10,000 card for 20 bucks. Just because he might no longer be into a hobby doesn't give you the right to sell his property. Not only that, he made memories with his dad, putting them in there. This is rated asshole, and I fully agree. I think you're an asshole. Am I the a-hole for lying to my girlfriend? Lies are never good unless they're white and they're protecting someone, and it'll never affect them. There's some reasons. Context: my lady, 20 female, recently invited me, 20 male. We are in college together. We got extra days off from our university each year for a little Easter break. My girlfriend invited me to go home with her and to her church with her family. I've been to her house several times throughout the course of our 2-year relationship, but this time, however, we would be traveling deep into her home state to a small country town where her grandfather preaches. I'd be meeting a lot of her extended family for the first time. When she initially asked me to go, I knew that I wasn't really in the mood to go on this trip with her and be around her family. Nothing wrong with her family. I just want to stay at school, relax, catch up on some work. Her love language is quality time though. So I just bit the bullet and I said yes when she asked me if I wanted to go with her. The lie. 2 weeks pass and it is 2 days before the trip, and I let her know I don't really want to go. When she asked why, I let her know I was just going to make her happy. She was extremely offended by this. She's not too concerned with the fact that I don't want to go. However, she's extremely pissed that I lied when she asked me initially. This led to a longer conversation where I ended up admitting that I do this semi-frequently. I can be a bit of a homebody at times, and when she asks me if I want to go out and do something with her, I'll often just say yes, even if I don't want to. This information served to infuriate her even more. She hates liars with a passion, and in her mind, there's no exception. She compares me to one of her previous boyfriends who had lied about wanting to be with her after a break and ultimately ended up cheating on her. She isn't speaking to me right now and saying that she needs space. This is as mad as she's ever been at me. My whole thing is I don't feel like this is as bad as she thinks it is. Sometimes when I tell her I want to hang out, when I don't, I actually end up having a genuinely good time with her. Whenever I'm honest and say I don't want to go, but I'm willing to, she drops the idea of going at all and won't budge on it. I just don't feel like these lies hold the same weight as her cheating ex. So I ask you, am I the a-hole? I don't feel like these are lies. I feel that you're one way and you're bending who you are to make her happy. You're compromising with yourself. It feels like a compromise, not a lie. You're the asshole. Why lie in the first place? Why is it a lie? I guess that's a lie, or is it just feelings? I'm curious of your thoughts on this. Why lie in the first place? Seems your reason was to keep her happy. If that's the case, why tell her the truth right before the trip? Did you think you'd be grateful and you're going to put up with her family although you didn't want to go? Like, I don't understand all of a sudden. 2 days before your trip, you decide that she should know the truth. It's not like a truth. You just are like, you probably felt 2 weeks ago where you're like, ah, okay, I'll go. But then it gets closer, you're like, ah, damn, feelings change. I really don't want to go. This also was rated asshole. You guys are mean. You guys are really mean. I'm excited. I saved the best for last, you know? Am I the a-hole for laughing at my friend farting? I'm a child, please sue me. My friend, 16 female, was occupied with one of her other friends. We were sitting down in the hallway near the windows to get some sunlight while I screwed through reels of TikTok. I nudged her gently, trying to show her a funny TikTok that came up on my For You page, but instead I got nudged harshly against my waist by her elbow. She was listening to her friend and I wasn't aware that she was speaking to her friend. I was left agitated, but I didn't utter a word, distracting myself with the other countless TikToks. That's when she accidentally let one rip, and I turned my face to her and in complete annoyance said, "Can't you stop?" I turned my attention back to my iPad, and that's when she yelled, "I have a medical condition," and stormed off and cursing, "F you, F you." Meanwhile, I am in the corner. I burst into tears by laughter. I know it wasn't nice to laugh, but I genuinely could not control my tears. Background information: she has extreme constipation and struggles passing bowel movements. She mentioned to me that she has to take extreme laxatives and sometimes they don't work. She'll have to go to the doctor or her large intestines will burst. As many times as when gas passed in front of me, I've never uttered a word until today. Do you guys think I'm in the wrong? I think you're in the wrong. What else? Think it's kind of funny. I feel like that's what friends do to each other. You're the asshole. Don't laugh at people's medical problems and don't be rude regardless of how agitated you feel. You're the asshole. You don't laugh at your friend for farting. Okay, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna laugh at you for farting. I feel like I can't judge this one because I don't care if you're a dead body on the table of my mother. I fart, I'm gonna laugh. Okay, that's too much. Guys, I need to go. If you have any Am I the Assholes you want me to react to, drop them in the comments. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Make the world a better place, okay? I love you. Bye.